Welcome to another episode of the Crypto Marketing Show. My name is Ty Daniel Smith.
I'm TJ, Young Dumb Crypto.
And I'm Kylie.
Today we are discussing the age-old question of, is it okay to retweet yourself?
The age-old question.
Age-old question. Since the beginning of time. The cavemen, it's actually in hieroglyphics of people retweeting themselves.
Really?
It actually started a couple of wars. I think it was World War I or World War II. One of them was from a retweet of yourself. But yeah, TJ, what do you think it's okay to retweet yourself?
I mean, okay, sure. I mean, if you want to retweet yourself, it's kind of up to, I'm always on the, it's up to you to kind of figure out who you want to be, how you want to phrase yourself, what type of person you want to be. Is it like, that was something we had just kind of mentioned. Is it a person or is it a brand makes a big difference. To me, it's somewhat like liking your own post on other platforms. Like like liking your own picture on Instagram. Some people are like, yeah, I thought that was a good picture. That's why I posted it. So yeah, of course I like my own pictures. Other people are like,
I would cringe at that.
Yeah, well,
but that's what we're talking about, though, the difference between a person doing it and a brand.
Right.
Wow.
Well, and if I'm a brand, I don't know. Do you like your own pictures?
Well, what if you are your brand?
But yeah, okay.
Exactly.
So an influencer, for example, I would consider a brand because that's their brand.
Right. So they're trying to get exposure. So, I mean, there definitely are times, places, reasons, strategies, just like anything else. It's a time and a place for everything. So there's reasons to do it, but I don't do it all that often, but I'm not saying I've never done it. I've probably done it more. I know I did it not that long ago. Probably, I don't remember when, but sometime in the last month or so.
I do it relatively frequently.
Okay. I've probably done it 3 times.
But that's because my account, like my Twitter account, it's not connected with friends and family and stuff like that. Everything I post on there is for the purpose of professional growth and keeping in contact with the community, stuff like that. And I'm a marketer, so who's going to blame a marketer for doing whatever's possible to get as many impressions on something as possible?
Exposure, sure.
Yeah, so I see it as fine for me. If someone cringes at it, whatever, it's part of my job.
Sure.
And I think most influencers probably, if they don't, they should take that approach.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's a good way to get more organic traffic on something that maybe didn't do well the first time around, or you're posting at a more opportune time, or if it's sponsored content to get more impressions for that sponsor.
Exactly. No, that's where I was going with some of the strategies and the reasons I have heard that people do it, or the kind of why behind some reasoning that it is okay to retweet yourself, or not that it's okay. I mean, obviously anything's okay. There's no okay or not okay.
It's a social etiquette question. Really.
Yeah. It's just a matter of, why would you do it? And I know some people, like, sometimes if you have a really good tweet and you put it out and it got decent engagement, but it wasn't at a very active time, and you think, oh, I'm going to retweet this when I know a bunch of people are online, and, try to get more exposure on it or try to get more engagement on it. That's a pretty common strategy. Or like you said, if you're doing something for a sponsor or a brand, so a lot of people will tweet the original comment out and then come back a day later, a couple days later, retweet it again, try to get it, more exposure so that they can deliver more value for their clients or their customers or whatever.
Now, when would you retweet yourself? Like, both in what situation, which you kind of already touched on, and like literally how long after the original content goes out would you retweet? Like, would you retweet yourself a month after the fact or a day after the fact?
Yeah, I'm actually more likely to retweet myself way after the fact. Like, if I
really, I haven't done that.
So so another time you'll see people retweet with sometimes, especially traders and stuff that are making price predictions, and they call X, Y, and Z out at this date. This is going to happen, and then they'll go back and read.
That's a little different though, because that's referencing something.
That's what I'm saying. And that's more when I would like if I posted something and then 3 months later it happened. Yeah, I haven't done that yet, but I'm not against it. I'm not above doing that.
Yeah, I don't see that as being really like in the same conversation as what we're having, because you're adding the old content to new content. I consider it new content.
But that was just my answer for the when. I'd go way back, but also, I mean, if like we were just touching on with sponsorships, if you wanted it to get more, I'd say wait a couple days. I mean, usually with Twitter, everything's fairly actively relevant in the moment. Yeah. So usually it's not like I feel like it's either within 12 to 48 hours or probably not much at all. Like I feel like if you get into 4, 5, 6, or maybe 1 week, but anything over a week, I would think is kind of probably going to be.
Yeah, I would see that as weird, but I'm not sure why.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
It's just psychology, and it's really just a matter of if you care what other people think. If you don't care what other people think, retweet yourself as much as you want. Who cares? Nobody's going to do anything about it.
Carly, do you retweet yourself at all?
Never in my life retweeted myself.
That's a strong no. That is a strong no.
But
that is a judgmental no.
No, because I wasn't on crypto Twitter and I wasn't doing like digital marketing for Twitter. So like my experience was all the people from high school. So never would I have retweeted myself.
Right.
You know, when the people that are in my community are just people I went to high school with, you know what I'm saying? But when you're promoting yourself, your brand, other brands, or like you guys were saying, you're referencing, like that makes sense. Or hey, if you have a fire tweet and you know that it can do better, retweet yourself. Do you, boo? We support it.
Do you, boo? That is the policy of Coinbound.
Yeah, but like be strategic about it. Don't retweet everything because I promise not everything was meant to go viral.
Well, I mean, and more or less basically what you're saying is that you think this was so good that everybody needs to see it. And if you missed it the first time, here it is again.
Yeah.
In my experience, also, the retweet never hits the way the original tweet did.
No, it never will. But if it's like I said, you can use it strategically. If you see, especially if you see one that has hit pretty well and you know there wasn't a lot of people online, getting it back out there when there's a lot, like Friday night, for example, is really active on Twitter. Maybe retweeting yourself on a Friday night, something that you did like Tuesday morning that for some reason went really viral. You never know.
Now, I didn't plan the conversation to go this way, but it's coming up in my mind. But now, let's talk about retweeting the content of, like, for example, my Twitter account is Ty Daniel Smith. We have Coinbound. It's not only me managing Coinbound, but me retweeting Coinbound is sort of by extension me retweeting myself. Do you see anything there? Is it more acceptable or less acceptable to do that?
I mean, I
retweet like everything from that Coinbound.
Yeah, definitely. Like if it's your own agency, if it's your own product, it's just putting that messaging on a different platform.
I see that as more acceptable, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely more acceptable. So like if you have, like, for example, I know like if you have a podcast, the podcast drops, and then like for this example, we'll drop this episode on the Coinbound channel, but then we're all gonna retweet it. I mean, it's just the same because we're in it. Yeah, it's just like posting it on our own channel. So yeah, I see that as just sharing. That's how you would share content.
Yeah, and let's be real, we're in crypto. We're gonna shill ourselves all day long.
Exactly.
Like, come on.
Shill life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
All right, I guess that's it, unless you guys have anything else to add. No?
That's pretty much it.
All right, well, remember to rate, review, and recommend. I almost forgot the 3 R's. Rate, review, and recommend the podcast, and
subscribe.
And subscribe, and smash that like button, and retweet this 5 times, and then retweet your retweet.
Yeah, exactly.
And
we'll retweet you too.
Yeah, we'll retweet your retweet.
So yeah,
I wonder how far down that meta chain we can go. How many retweets of retweets we can go.
Crypto Twitter can go deep down some retweet rabbit holes.
All right,
for sure.
All right, if you're listening, retweet the tweet of this podcast with a comment. We will retweet that with also a comment, and we'll see how far we can get that to go before one of us gets bored.
Okay.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right.